In the quiet moment, my day, I kneel and find my heart's own way, guided by His love so true.
Welcome, everyone. Today, we are diving into the remarkable life of Jesus Christ, a figure whose impact resonates through history and continues to inspire millions. Born in Bethlehem to Mary and Joseph, Jesus' early life was marked by humility and purpose. He grew up in Nazareth, where he developed a deep understanding of faith and compassion. At around 30, he began his ministry, sharing messages of love, forgiveness, and hope. Through parables and miracles, he touched the lives of many, challenging societal norms and encouraging people to embrace kindness. However, his journey was not without trials. Ultimately, Jesus faced betrayal and was crucified, a sacrifice that many believe was for the redemption of humanity. His resurrection 3 days later symbolizes victory over death and the promise of eternal life. Thank you for joining me in exploring this profound story. If you found this inspiring, please consider following or subscribing for more uplifting content.
In the morning light, I see His grace, guiding my heart through life's endless race.
Let's step back in time to explore what people wore during the time of Jesus. Clothing was simple and functional, dictated by the climate and available materials. The most common garment was the tunic, a simple, loose-fitting garment made of wool or linen. Men typically wore tunics that reached their knees or calves. Women's tunics were longer, often reaching their ankles. They also wore a head covering, known as a veil or shawl, for modesty and protection from the sun. Sandals were the typical footwear, providing basic protection for the feet on the rough terrain. In cooler weather, people wore a mantle or cloak for warmth. This was a large, rectangular piece of cloth that could be draped over the shoulders. Clothing in Jesus' time reflected a practical and modest lifestyle, suited to the environment and cultural norms of the period.
Have you ever wondered why the Bible lists names and ages that seem to go on forever? Genesis 5 reads like an ancient census, a long line of fathers and sons, stretching for centuries. Adam lived 930 years, Seth 912, Methuselah 969. But this isn't just a list of long-lost names. It's a fragile, unbroken chain of humanity, a whisper of life passed from one generation to the next in a world slowly turning from the light. Each name is a testament to God's promise, a flicker of hope carried through the ages. These men were more than just historical figures. They were the guardians of a sacred story. Their lives weren't just about survival. They were about memory, legacy, and the enduring faith that even in the lengthening shadows, humanity's story was still being written.
Life goes on as usual in Jerusalem, unaware of the monumental event about to unfold. Suddenly, the sky tears open. A blinding light engulfs everything. What is happening? Man 1 asked, fear in his voice. It's the end! Woman 1 exclaimed, panicked. Chaos erupts as the prophesied day arrives. Jesus Christ appears on the Mount of Olives, descending in glory. The dead rise, and all of humanity gathers in the valley of Jehoshaphat for judgment. Let the judgment begin. Jesus Christ commanded with authority. The books are opened, and the fate of every soul hangs in the journey back in time to discover the flavors of Jesus' era. What did people eat in ancient Judea? Bread was a staple, made daily using simple ingredients like wheat or barley. Olives, dates, and figs provided essential nutrients and sweetness. Lentil stew, seasoned with herbs and spices, was a common and nourishing meal. These simple, wholesome foods sustained life in ancient times. A glimpse into the past on our plates. In Bethlehem, a star announced the birth of Jesus, the Son of God. Years later, young Jesus amazed the temple scholars with his wisdom and understanding. Jesus traveled, teaching about love, forgiveness, and the kingdom of heaven. He entered Jerusalem, hailed as the Messiah, but his arrival stirred conflict. Jesus said serenely, "This is my body, given for you. This is my blood, shed for you." Jesus shared a final meal with his disciples. He was crucified, a sacrifice for the sins of humanity. But on the third day, he rose again, fulfilling prophecy.